They did it! Oh, they did it! Oh, they did it, baby! They did it! Arkansas got the win. They get the upset over Tennessee. Oh, my gosh. Oh, baby. Woo! Look at this. Right here, baby. It's the luck of the gold chain. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. All right. This is the kind of game you needed to get folks back in. Incredible. You got to be psyched. Oh, man, this is why college football is so awesome. This is why this is the best sport. Right here. Oh, I've been waiting to just explode, bro. Oh. You weren't so sure. You weren't so sure. Make sure you guys do me a favor. Like, share, subscribe. Shout out to the folks watching on Arkansas Sports Network. It's the luck. It's the gold chain, baby. We got to figure out just who the hell gets this. Like, share, subscribe. This thing is so heavy. I don't know where to put it while we're... Just stay. Just stay. It's humming. You can't hear it, but the damn thing is humming. Wow. Incredible. Incredible. No Green. No Jackson. Guys dropping like flies. Your secondary still banged up. Incredible performance. Gutsy. Patrino mostly called, I thought, a pretty good game. I thought they got a little too conservative. And then Green goes out. You had no choice but to get a little bit conservative. Dude, how about Malachi? Malachi, at first, the snaps were off, but he just, you know what, man? He hung in there. He didn't fumble any of the snaps. Oh, my goodness. Oh, they needed this game so bad. This is what happens when you limit your mistakes and you play mostly clean football. I said they would cover. I didn't pick Arkansas to win this game. I said they would cover. I didn't think they would win it, but I thought they would cover. And I'm 1 for 2 in that category. We got a super chat. That gold chain goes to the whole damn defense. That's a pretty good point. I don't know I don't know. I mean, who do you give the defensive line, especially in that first half. Especially in that first half. And then Malachi coming in, and yeah, I know that touchdown, they gave it to him. They wanted some time. I get it. But that was still a hell of a job. Really well-called game when Malachi got in there, but, Tennessee was reading that like an open book. Oh, my gosh. So many people just were like, that's ball game. That's ball game. That's ball game. That's over. That's over when Tennessee scored, when they got 14. Oh, that's ball game. This is why you let it play out. Let it play out. Wow, this game does a lot. This game does a lot for the season. It does a lot for Sam. Takes a lot of pressure off these guys. They finally win a close game. 19-14. Shout out to our sponsor, Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. Same-day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes, better than best results. They operate out of Central Arkansas and in Northwest Arkansas. 501-244-3667. They also sponsor this gold chain. They sponsor the gold chain. So we're going to get to it in just a minute. You've got to be hyped. You got to be hyped. This was an incredible game for Arkansas. What a way to find a way to win the game. Braylon Russell looked the part. All we heard about was how mighty this Tennessee defensive line was. That's all we heard about. And Arkansas runs for 134 yards. We're going to get to all that in just a second. Oh, my gosh. Man. RQ56, shout out to Dad. He says, play Russell Moore. We have a super chat. I'm going to pull this up. Give it to Singleton, says Michael Kerper. See, my phone's blown up, and I've got people telling me Tyatt's got to go to Malachi. Tyatt's got to go to the offensive line for playing mostly clean. I don't know about that. A lot of penalties. Where's the other one? Ty, give it to Landon Jackson. Ty, give it to I feel like everyone deserves the chain, but that's not how we do it. We don't typically do it that way. This was a team effort, no doubt. Chris Meadows says, Woo Pig. My buddy said Tennessee would set records. Now he's buying my barbecue today, says Steven1383. Again, make sure you guys like, share. If you're just now finding Tusk Talk with Ty YouTube, I've been doing this for some time. 1.5 million views. And loving every minute of it. I'm loving every minute of it. It's games like this. Why I do what I do, man. T-Will won this game with the D. See, there's Sarge. I think Sarge has got a damn good point. The game plan on defense was fantastic. I was hella wrong, but don't care. Hogs win. Yeah, a lot of folks said this was over. Give up way too quick, especially the youngins, especially the kids. Arky56 drops the hell yes in chat. Heartbreak Hog says, y'all, I can't believe it. What a win, man. Lasuzzo Eagle, give it to Sam Pittman or T-Will. Upset day around college football. Upset day. Arkansas going to be one of them. Let's look at some of these scores really quick. Miami's currently trailing. Number 8, Miami is currently trailing California 14-7. Vanderbilt with the win today, 40-35. What a day! What a day, man! Georgia took care of business against Auburn. That was a no-brainer, 31-13. Texas A&M absolutely, they goat smoked Missouri, 41-10. I don't know. I made that up off the top of my head. Goat smoked. It just sounded funny. Minnesota over USC, who's number 11. Minnesota's now 3-3, 24-17. Ole Miss took care of business against South Carolina, 27-3. We're forgetting one, right? SMU beat Louisville. How many of you were out on – listen, now look, the talk about replacing the head coach is probably gone now. That's what this game did, okay? I'm not saying it's over. I'm not saying he's out of the woods yet. But, oh, my, you just beat a top 5 team in the country. I don't care if it's at home, neutral site, or on the road. I don't give a damn. You were, I know they're moral victories, but you were in on the – you really should be undefeated right now, or you could be undefeated. Syracuse beat UNLV. It's not really an upset, but Syracuse was unranked. UNLV was 25th in the country, 44-41. So many people, man. No, SMU's garbage. Now that they're in a bigger conference, they're garbage. They just went on the road and beat Louisville. Louisville just got their first home loss. Let the season play out. All right, Arkansas. Let's go over these numbers because this is absolutely extraordinary. Again, appreciate everyone for hopping in. Whoa, $20 super chat. Let me read this. How do I open the whole thing here? Go away. Here we go. If you aren't watching the game on the Skycast feed on ESPN Plus, you're missing out. They kept sweeping the crowd that rushed the field, and people were going insane. What a way to watch the Hogs, and what a game. Tim Neal with a $2 super chat. What's up, Tim? I was wrong, Tim. I said Arkansas wouldn't win the game. I said it would. They would cover, but they would not win the game. Logan Murer. So that's what a win feels like. Doesn't it feel good? Oh my God, you could feel it all the way. You could feel it in your bones, in your loins. That's what it feels like. It's good. Sam can now coach with a lot of pressure off his shoulders. Okay. Nico, Tennessee's quarterback. What did we talk about? We said you get pressure on this guy, he folds. He folded. He either ran around, maybe picked up a few yards rushing, or he took a sack, or he threw in. I don't know what his completion percentage is going to look like. It's probably not going to be good when you're talking about under pressure throwing. He was 17 of 29, 158 yards. These guys ran into a brick wall. You just held I would dare say coming into this game, most people thought this was a top 2 offense, top 3 offense in the country. You just held the star. I mean, they called him Mahomes. Did you guys hear that? They said, what a Mahomes-type throw. It was a good throw. I'm not going to lie about it. That throw that he made there late in the game, that was impressive. But 17 and 20, I think he got most of his passing yards on that throw. 17 and 29, 158 yards, 5 yards per completion. Dylan Sampson, you take away that 53-yarder, you keep him around 5 yards a carry, but he was still very productive for them. I was surprised we didn't see more of Bishop. Sampson ran the ball 22 times, 138 yards. That's 6.3 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns. Deshaun Bishop, 3 carries, 19 yards. He runs so hard. Nico ran the ball 11 times for 17 yards, which puts him at under 2 yards a carry. Squirrel White, which kind of had a feeling this guy would be a little bit of a pain in your side, but fortunately you were able to limit what he could do. 7 catches, just 38 yards. That's 5.4 yards. I think that's a season low for him on anything above four catches. Dylan Sampson also caught a ball out of the backfield for 11 yards. Arkansas. What did Arkansas do? Okay. Green, until he got knocked out, he did miss Tesla wide open downfield. All right? No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He missed Tesla downfield. That was just one of those moments. He has them every game. He was throwing behind guys. Centennial's having to reach behind himself just to make a catch. But he made the catch. You did have drops. Broden, I'm pretty sure, is going to get hit with that drop. Centennial had a drop in the end zone. And still yet, Green goes 19 to 27, 266 yards, only to then get knocked out in the fourth quarter. Malachi comes in. Malachi looks a little phased early on, but kind of got it together. He throws 2 of 3 for 31 yards. One of those check down throws. Was it DeBinion? I forgot who it was that caught it. I think it was maybe DeBinion. Nice. It was a good job. He went through his reads and there was nothing there, and he just checked it down to DeBinion. DeBinion caught the ball. Was it not DeBinion? I swear it was DeBinion. Yeah, 1 for 18. Maybe that wasn't DeBinion. I didn't think he picked up that many yards. Regardless, he checked down to somebody. It was a good throw. It was a good read. Braylon Russell carried the ball 8 times, 62 yards. Guys, that's just south of 8 yards a carry. That's 7.8 yards a carry. Jaquindon Jackson, 20 carries. He was limited there in the fourth quarter. I'm not going to lie to you. Listen, the guy's going to get, as long as he's healthy, he's going to get 16 to 20 carries a game. He was not super effective later on in that game, but I think he might have been playing a little banged up. And I hate to say this, he is injury prone. It's why it's so important. You've got guys like Braylon Russell and Rashard DeBinion who you can rely on, and they both did good. DeBinion only had 2 carries, but he averaged 5 yards a carry, 10 yards. And, of course, Russell there late in the game was great. He was great late in that game. He's going to get more carries. They're just going to continue to come along. What a freshman. Freshmen stood out for these guys tonight. Andrew Armstrong was fantastic. I don't know that he caught 100% of his targets tonight, but I know he's up there. He's got to be at 80+% on his targets. 9 catches, 132 yards. Still no touchdown for the guy. No passing touchdowns for Arkansas. Centennial 5 for 72. Jaquindon Jackson 2 for 33. Broden did have a catch for 22 yards. DeBinion 1 for 18. Haz was in the game. We got to see him with one pretty good play there for 16 yards. Jordan Anthony, the A&M transfer, 1 for 4. I'm going to have to pull up the stat broadcast site for defensive numbers, but very, very impressive team effort. We've got to figure out who the hell gets this. Who gets the chain? Who gets the chain? Let's look up fan funding here really quick. T-Will saved Sam's job. He gets the belt. T-Will needs to be the highest paid assistant in America. Tim Neal. What a job he did today was incredible. Ken Phillips says, woo, pig. Defense gets the chain, and Russell and Singleton are the future. $20 super chat. Champion says, Tusk, do not sleep on the Hogs again, man. They are coming. Listen, how many people were picking Arkansas to cover? I don't know how many. I know I did. I picked them to cover. I did not pick them to win this game, though. Armstrong gets the chain, says George Bumpus. Dude, there are so many options here. You could argue that Green, on his third down play early in this game, is the reason why they were able to get any points at all to start things off with. However, he still missed throws, and he wouldn't be on the list if I put out the top 4. He wouldn't be on the list to get the gold chain, but he tried to power through that injury. God, that looked rough. I thought that was more severe. We'll see. That's something we're going to have to monitor. That's something we're going to have to take a look at. You got to give him credit, man. And yeah, he wasn't perfect today. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to miss throws. But 19 to 27, 266 yards. You could tell as soon as he tried to run, they were not going to let him beat them with his legs. And I think that's why you saw a little bit of the early success of the passing game. They were far more concerned about his ability to run the ball. Man, this is tough. I really don't know who should get this chain. I have video proof that Ty called this exactly last night. Show the video, Ty. Well, I mean, you did. I don't want to. I'll send it in Discord because I have it on my phone. But I did. I did call. What I said in that Marco Polo was it did feel like one of those games where Arkansas just kind of has Tennessee's number. I'll send it in Discord if anyone wants to see the video. But I did not pick Arkansas to win this game. On the video, Ty says, I feel Arkansas may upset. I appreciate the shout out, Mr. T-Dub. Officially, I just said they would cover. All right. Hogs are undefeated if they had protected the ball all season. I agree, Ty Quinn. You're undefeated if you're better with the ball. If you're limiting those mistakes, if you're not turning the ball over as often as they were. Reading ASN chat here. We deserve this. This is David Cleveland, proud to be a Hog fan. Tyler Boyd says, woo, pig suey. Rudolph Shore says, turn that damn jukebox on. Jaquai Nichols says, woo, pig suey over on ASN. You guys make sure if you're watching this on ASN Facebook, just share the content. Share the stream on Facebook. Singleton missed a wide open Tesla too. He did. You're right, Bobby Shiz. He did. That's a funny name. Come on, man. Take a bow. You called it. Well, I would, but in an official capacity, I didn't. I did to you and Stephen Hamner, QB Spotlight, in a Marco Polo video. You're right, I did. But in an official capacity, I didn't. I see you, though. I see you, Tim. All right. The first ever. How about this, man? We just get this gold chain. You get a big dub. The first ever winner. It's got to be T. Will. It's got to be T. Will. I mean, what you just did to maybe the best offense in college football, certainly one of the top in the SEC. The game plan was awesome. The pass rush. They actually applied consistent pressure. 4 or 5 sacks? I mean, it was just great. Congrats. T. Will's going to get the very first Tusk Talk with Ty post-game MVP chain brought to you by Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. Oh, man. I got to wear this the rest of the show. It's got to go to T. Will. It's got to. What a job they did. Yeah, you could talk about certain individuals on defense, and I thought they were all great. I thought Xavier Sori played pretty well. I thought Landon Jackson played his ass off. Again, the pass rush was legit. It was all in the game plan. Now, also, it is very important to point out that Arkansas's opening drive, they're eating up the clock. They dominated the time of possession. It gave Arkansas's defense time to rest, to get settled in, to look at the iPad, to go over what they need to do their thing, right? That is fair. That's fair. That all is a part of the game plan. from an offensive perspective. Your best defense is keeping them on the sidelines. Golly. How does Mr. T do it? I think it goes to T-Will. I just think it goes to T-Will. Let's scroll up here, read some more chat. Tell my bro David Cleveland I said what's up. So proud, and Singleton won me over. Listen, man, the kahunas on him. We may be a little hard on Green when he got hurt. He was still trying to hype the team and crowd up. That's being a leader, absolutely, John. Or James, sorry. James Swope, absolutely. Green on that miss to Tesla, he had his O-line blocking set up to the left, which is the reason he was reading defense to his left. Well, Chance, if you see where his helmet is, his face mask, it's forward. I posted it on Twitter. He's not looking to the left. His body, his demeanor, everything was not pointed to the left. It was looking in the middle of the field. He missed that read. Okay, that's just straight up. He missed that read. Maybe Pittman can give us some more insight. Maybe they had a design play elsewhere, but I think he missed that read. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think he did miss that read. And that's okay. He still made up for it. Ty, we should be undefeated. This is a very good team, says Charles Harper. Boy, the comments are quite different. Tenor fans talking trash in the third, so freaking smug. Did you see the amount of orange in the crowd? Oh, such a disappointing drive home. You lost to a backup quarterback, a freshman running back. Ty, you look like you've been crying. Okay. Whatever you say, Chief. How about my guy from Texarkana? LJ gets the chain. It's got to go to T-Will, man. This was tough. You could go all across. You could point out a number of guys. Danico Slaughter played pretty good tonight. He had a pass breakup, 8 tackles. Xavion Sori had 8 tackles. That's your leader in total tackles. Well, between him and Danico Slaughter. Marquise Robinson, I'm very curious to see how well he grades out tomorrow on Pro Football Focus. I thought in coverage he was really good. I thought Dix played a really good game. He also had a QB hurry. Now, the Arkansas stat site says Arkansas had just 3 hurries. I don't know about that. Would you guys say they had more than 3 hurries? Because I think they did. It looked to me at least like 5. At least 5. I mean, Nico just folds under pressure. He folds. His completion percentage dropped down to 57% in this game. Again, he was 16 to 28 for 156 yards. That dirty hit on Talon makes me forever hate Tennessee. I would need to take another look at it. It looked at first like it might have been a cheap shot, but I don't want to bury a kid without at least looking at it again, but it did look cheap. It did. It really did. That's not a good look for Tennessee, especially when it's on the quarterback. At least number 20 next week. Gotta be the 2 teams we lost to were 1 score. Need Cousin Shane back on. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to want to come back on or not. He kind of torched Arkansas yesterday with that silly little meme that he posted. That wasn't cool. What was it? The best thing about Arkansas is leaving? Man, he's got to answer for that one. Volunteer Tennessee says Tennessee O-line had nothing on y'all's D-line. No answer. I was really surprised by that. Arkansas's pass rush this year has been near the bottom. They don't rush well. They don't get after the quarterback well. And I think tonight they ended up with 4 sacks. Now, rushing plays for Tennessee were mostly north-south. Look, they averaged 5 yards a carry, right? Sampson and Bishop both had over 6 yards a carry. But when it came to Nico, they just did not have an answer to protect the guy. They just didn't. And he just that's his kryptonite. His pass completion under pressure is like 35%. Now, naturally, most quarterbacks especially when they get some decent teams under their belt, talking about like who they play, that number always comes down. Some of the best quarterbacks in college football right now, guess what? Their clean pocket percentage is going to be lower than their pressure, than their pressured throws. That's just the nature of it, right? But his is bad, and I watched him. Watched him a little bit against Oklahoma, against NC State. I just thought Arkansas's answer has to be to get pressure. And not only did they get pressure, they did it with a 3- and 4-man front. Now, yeah, they did send 5. They did send 6. They were pretty aggressive, especially in the first and second quarter. They looked to be really aggressive. And then all of a sudden, we see a change with their defensive front. Now they're going to a 3-man front with a couple of guys kind of looking out outside, maybe playing a little bit of outside containment. And Tennessee just didn't have an answer for it outside of being able to run north-south with their running backs. Arkansas successfully took Nico out by pressuring him and not letting him get away with his feet. And the same thing with Tennessee with Green. They did not let Green escape. They did not let Green take off and get yardage. He had 9 carries for -5. So you got to give credit where credit's due. I thought both defenses had good game plans for the opposing quarterback. Green was better. Green looked like the better quarterback outside that throw by Nico. But listen, Volunteer, I just want to tell you, man, I think Tennessee's going to win some games, though. I think you guys are going to be just fine. When Fayetteville is on fire, when Fayetteville is lit, and that electricity is what it is, it can be a very hard place to win at. It doesn't get enough credit because of how down Arkansas has been for the better part of a decade. It doesn't get enough credit. At night, that can be a tough environment to play. You can ask, South Carolina. You can go back all the way to the Nut era. It is very difficult to win in Fayetteville under the lights. However, the last decade just kind of hasn't really mattered, has it? Because they've lost to some teams they have no business losing to. I've watched Arkansas miss so many field goals to win or tie in my life. This is this guy. Gotta say, I still don't hate Tenor Orange. I will stand by what I said. I think Tennessee is a natural, organic rivalry. More so than Missouri. I've said that all along. And this matchup lately has that feeling of like A&M and Arkansas. It just does. Like A&M, even when Arkansas has the better product on the field, and that hasn't been often, but when Arkansas is the better program on the field, again, not very often, they still find ways to lose that game. That feels like it's kind of been the case between Arkansas and Tennessee. I would argue, who knows what happens from here on out with this kind of win. Maybe you can, obviously we got to figure out what's going on with Green, but I would still argue Tennessee's a really good football team. And this is one they're going to feel like they just kind of let go. Now, however, again, Arkansas had to rely on a freshman running back, and they had to rely on Malachi Singleton, a backup quarterback, who's never been under that kind of pressure. All of his snaps have been cleanup duty. Arky 56 is around 76,000 showed up tonight. Bama and Tennessee have one thing in common. Overrated, says Shamu Tiger. Are they top 5? Probably not. Again, this is something that I spoke to on Thursday night. I said they haven't played an offense like Arkansas's, and they're not going to play very many offenses like Arkansas's. They're just not. Where they have the kind of size, speed, and athleticism. Their big weakness, we know it's been the offensive line. Green missing throws, right? It's been Green's feet combination at times with his ability to make some throws on 3rd and long. I thought that opening drive for Arkansas was very telling. The fact that they could sustain that drive, what was it, 15 plays, whatever. I mean, just crazy. Took off a lot of time. That was very interesting because I don't know that I was impressed, and I kind of had a feeling from that point on maybe they really are going to cover this, but who knows? We've seen Arkansas collapse in these second halves. Tennessee lost to the Woo Pig Dummies. Shamu Tiger, you're next. We'll see what happens when you come to Fayetteville, my friend. These games have been close between the two of us. Go all the way back to the COVID year when we barely had enough players available for that game. probably could have won that game too. Sam has not struggled as mightily against LSU, and I would argue this could be one of his better teams. If they play mistake-free football, it very well could be one of his better teams. So I would watch the shit talk because you're next, my friend. Woo Pig says Rabid Steve. I'm late, but let's go. Make sure you guys like and share. If you're new here, subscribe. Every assistant coach their butts off, including Sam. Woo Pig says Hogs better. Go, I'm going to have to take this thing off. Oh, my God. Holy crap. I appreciate the super chats. Make sure I got them all. Got a bunch of super chats tonight. I appreciate you guys. Bring on LSU, says Leslie Byram. That's right. Hey, by the way, Patreon did go through. We've got the new Patreon list. It is up. You can check it out in Discord. If you have your account linked to Discord, you should have access to the entire Tusk Talk with Ty Discord. Shmoo Tiger's just copy and pasting now. I love seeing coordinators back on the sidelines. Yeah, the thing that really stood out to me was Green's timing. He was on the same page with Andrew Armstrong as he has been most of the year, but then he was in sync for the most part with Isaiah Centennial. And you know what was different and what stood out in this game versus every other game, maybe outside of Oklahoma State? I think these two games have something in common. Green actually had a little bit of damn time to throw the ball. He had a somewhat clean pocket. They just contained him stopped him from running the ball. That's about all they did. He went out in the fourth quarter and he had over 266 yards off 19 completions. He had a clean pocket. He can do some damage in the passing game. And then that opens everything else up. Timing is still a little bit off. And again, we're thoughts and prayers are with him. Hopefully he's okay. Not just for Arkansas' sake, but for his own as well. Going to need him back. I don't know. I don't know that we have enough to go on with Malachi. I don't know that we have enough to make one decision or another. LSU is probably hoping and praying they don't have to see Taylon Green. Because he can wreck some folks, and he's doing a pretty decent – he's getting better with his arm. His decision-making, and guys, again, the limited – I can't tell you how important that the no-turnover mark is. Look, you play clean football, you can beat anybody. You can go toe-to-toe with just about anybody. You play clean football. Looking at the team stats, Tennessee goes 7 of 16 on third down. Arkansas, who's one of the premier third down offenses in the country, they go 6 of 16. On fourth down, Tennessee goes 0 for 2, Arkansas 1 for 3. How about total yards? Once again, what is this? Every game except one now. Arkansas has outgained their opponents. Tennessee, 332 yards of offense. They had just 75 total yards of offense in the first half. They made adjustments in the second half, played a much better brand of football in the second half, and still Arkansas found a way, again, even with a backup quarterback. 431 total yards of offense. That is our prediction, was can Arkansas get 350 or more total yards of offense? And obviously they did, 431. Total of 297 yards passing. Total of 2130 passing. On the ground, Tennessee 176 yards. Arkansas, they were outgained here at 134. Again, Tennessee knew what they needed to do. Their game plan was to slow down and to contain Arkansas's run game, and for the most part it worked. Now, what really hurt Tennessee is the penalties. 10 penalties for 60 yards. Arkansas 6 for 45. And then time of possession, where Arkansas dominated the opening half with time of possession. Tennessee was able to close that gap in the second half. Arkansas still wins the TOP 35 minutes, 20 seconds to Tennessee's 24-39. There's a lot here to love about what Arkansas was able to do. Kerper says, give me my XP. That's right. Me and you both, buddy. Tennessee rethinking letting us score, says Scott Wiley. I thought that was an interesting choice. They came close. They came close to finding a way there in the end. I thought he should have slid, but how do you tell a player, don't score, just slide at the 1 yard line so we can control the clock? How do you do that? How the hell do you do that? Without, you're going to second guess yourself. You're going to mess up, trip, fall, fumble the damn ball, and the next thing you know, Tennessee's got the ball. I get it. Let him run in. But, man, that was tough. And then you burn a timeout trying to convert on a 2-point conversion. Thankfully Arkansas had plenty of timeouts. I thought Arkansas's clock management throughout the game was well. Again, when you can somewhat establish and have a continued drive, where you're not just three and out, or you're turning the ball over 4 or 5 plays, 6 plays, turning the ball over. You're capable of doing a lot, and especially if you can get a guy like Braylon Russell going. Also, Jaquindon Jackson's another guy we're going to need to keep an eye on. Arkansas now improves to 4-2 on the season with an above 500 record in conference play at 2-1. Texas A&M is the number 1 team in the SEC currently with a 3-0 conference win. Did you see how well they took care of business today? And you saw that Texas A&M needed Arkansas to make mistakes to win that game. You take away 2 of those mistakes, Arkansas probably is undefeated if you do the same thing with Oklahoma State where you limit your mistakes. They finally got out of their own way, and they found a way to win. Texas is 1-0 in conference. They're 5-0. Again, A&M's 5-1 overall in the year. LSU's 1-0 in conference play, 4-1 overall. Georgia's 2-1 in conference with a 4-1 overall record. Missouri is 500 in SEC play. Oh, poor Missouri. Not really. Crushed by A&M, 41-10. The only crappy part for Arkansas is you got to go to Missouri at the end of the year. So you got LSU, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Texas, Louisiana Tech, Missouri. I'm going to tell you, Tennessee was never a game I felt that good about. And they did it. What is on the table for Arkansas? No, I don't think winning out. Definitely don't think winning out is on the table. But you got LSU. Pittman's got a little bit of pressure off his back. Let's hope Green is okay. And let's just assume that for a second that he's okay. All of a sudden, you're seeing some, maybe a couple less losses here. LSU currently ranked 13th. Mississippi State, you got to play on the road. You got Ole Miss and Texas and Louisiana Tech all going to be in town. So you just got to find 2 more. And I think if you're Sam, oh boy, you look back on A&M and Oklahoma State, and you're just going, oh my God, we should already be bowl eligible. We really should be 6-0 right now. But LSU with a healthy Green. We'll talk about it this week. I'm excited. I'm so excited, baby. Let's go. Congrats to T-Will. Getting the gold chain, baby. The Tusk Talk with Ty post-game gold chain. He got it. I thought the defense did such a good job. Yeah, they got a little bit of help. The offense eating up the time of possession. Arkansas maintaining those long drives, giving the defense rest. But that's a part of it. That's usually what sets apart some of the best defenses in the country. They've got a competent offense on the other side of the ball, and it allows them to take a breather, go over your mistakes. That's what they did. They were after the 3-man rush, and they're getting pressure. Yeah, I wanted to give it at first. I was thinking it's going to the defensive line. But then the more I thought about it, going into before we even went live, I had it kind of written down. I say written, I typed it out, didn't write it down. I typed it out like the pros and cons. And it's like everything you look at, it's a result of the game plan on the defensive side of the ball. They basically took Nico more or less out of the game. This is a guy people are trying to tout as a Heisman. And tonight he got exposed, and that was thanks to T-Will. So again, shout out to him. Coverage was awesome all night. It was. And that throw there at the end, it might have been just broken coverage. as the play kind of expanded a little bit. Vance Horner, Arkansas doesn't have the best kicker. Okay, that's a bickering between some folks. Ty, do we have a path to the playoffs? No. I would not put Arkansas. No. You've already got a couple losses. You got a loss to Oklahoma State that I don't think is a very good football team. I think they're probably I don't know, man, 7-5, Big 12 team. I don't know about your odds against Ole Miss. They look like they're starting to regain a little bit of steam, even though it was just one game removed from their loss. Texas is still very good. You got to go to Missouri. No, I don't think Arkansas has a path to the playoffs. However, I think right now the focus is just getting bowl eligible. I know we want more than that. I know some people, and I'm right there with you. I think the line shouldn't just be 6. It ought to be 7 wins. But at this point, you're going to take 6. You're going to take 6. To get bowl eligibility. You know what, too? Tonight, Malachi grew up a little bit tonight because he was forced to. He was put in a tough situation, and he grew up a little bit tonight. I still think he hangs onto the ball a little bit too much. He gets scatterbrained real easy when there's pressure, but you know what? Green does too, and I think we're starting to slowly see Green get a little bit better there. But Malachi grew up tonight. And he found a way, man. He wasn't shook at all. Who cares if they gave him that touchdown at the end? Who cares? He still looked pretty solid. What limited amount of action he got. Again, make sure you guys like, share. This is the best post-game show there is, no matter where. Ty at 9-3 can get into the playoffs. Yeah, but see, Brim, I don't put Arkansas at 9-3. That's the difference. I like when I'm looking at this, I don't see 9-3. I really think the ceiling might be 7. Maybe I'm wrong. Also, it depends on the health of your quarterback. Depends on the health of Jaquindon Jackson. I don't know that I see just one more loss. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. I'll say this much, especially after Ole Miss getting exploited, after your win tonight, after how well you played against A&M, and you saw what A&M did today to Mizzou. I don't think that anybody on this who's left on their schedule, you go 0 for 10. You know, we've talked about that before. If you had to play everyone 10 times, I don't see any that are 0 for 10. Even Texas, I think you would get a couple, maybe 3 or 4 games. LSU, yeah, I think with a healthy Green, you probably get 6 or 7 out of 10 against LSU. At least 6 out of 10. I don't think anyone is completely off limits when you talk about the possibility of getting an upset or finding a way to win. However, it's doing that week in and week out, something Sam has struggled to do over the years. You know, that's what I struggle with a little bit here. But he did win a close game tonight, guys. He did it at home. And he's now got a lot of pressure off his shoulders. And that can go a really long ways. Sam just saved his job. He did. I agree. I said that earlier. And you got to take it a game at a time. But again, it's about the consistency and doing it week in and week out, right? Hey, Ty, I think one of the big plays of the game that might get overlooked was Malachi's pass to Centenia that got us over the midfield. It seemed to give us extra juice after that. I'll tell you what really kind of, again, what set things in motion was, it wasn't just one play, although you could argue that, was it the 3rd and, I don't remember how far it was, 3rd and maybe 9, when you're backed up behind your own 5 or 6 or 5 yard line, and Green finds Jaquindon. He finds Jackson on I think it might have just, I don't know if it was a wheel route. I just saw him running down the sidelines and Green had thrown him the ball. That was huge. There was a couple of really nice runs, a couple of nice finds. The Andrew Armstrong, the sideline catch. By the way, that's a throw that Green has struggled with. Guys, had Broden, now one of those throws may have been incomplete no matter what. He's looking better throwing to the sidelines. He's looking better throwing to the sidelines. And he did hit he did hit Armstrong on a throw to the sidelines. It would look really sharp. He's getting better. This is part of that Patrino effect, getting better as you go. We talked about this last week. We've talked about this in consecutive weeks. he gets better. The offense gets better as they go. Now, unfortunately, the competition doesn't come down. You've really only got, how many games left do you look at and you go, okay, well, they should win that? Mississippi State and Louisiana Tech feel like the only gimmies. Those are the only two that feel like gimmies. The rest are either toss-ups or you're probably not going to win. I don't like Arkansas's odds right now against, I would even say Ole Miss, even though they definitely look human after their loss to Kentucky. Of course, Kentucky has that effect with that defense. Texas just feels like a for sure loss. But you know what? So did Tennessee, though. So did Tennessee, right? And then at Missouri, because first off, Arkansas just hasn't won there. And, I am kind of a believer in sometimes you just have somebody's number. And I get it. You take it a game at a time. You take it a season at a time. There's just something about that game. It's just like the Texas A&M game. You remember what I said the last 2-3 years doing these shows before A&M? I just don't ever take Arkansas because, A&M just has Arkansas's number. It kind of feels the same way with Mizzou, which is weird. Right now, I feel like Arkansas might be the better team. And before you come at me with Ty, you're losing hope, blah, 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 blah. No. What they did tonight raised a lot of hope and excitement for this team. Again, I'm going to go back to let's take it, and someone pointed this out, it was Brim, take it a game at a time, and that's fair, and I think that's the right way to do it. Take it a game at a time. Again, my issue, though, when you try to look at the big picture, when you look at the rest of the schedule, it's being able to do this consistently that Pittman's only really done once, and that was back in 2021, and that team was loaded with some diehard hogs, diehard talent, great. I'm not saying this team doesn't have that. You had some great vocal captains on both sides of the ball. You especially on defense. You just felt like that was a really well coached, really well put together team. Arkansas, I think this could be Sam's one of his top 2 teams he's ever coached here. Again, he's only in his 5th year, but you get what I'm saying. Still a lot of work on the offensive line. They're still struggling to get pushed, especially those 3rd and shorts, goal line situations. They're still struggling to get pushed where they need it. But to be fair, they've done a pretty good job, but we've only seen that recently where it starts to where those gaps they're closing a little too quickly. But now that you're finding the vertical side of your game, teams are going to have to have a different approach, assuming Green is healthy. Again, we thoughts and prayers are with Green, Jaquina Jackson, anybody else that got banged up tonight. We saw one of the defensive backs went out with an injury. Was it Slaughter? Danico Slaughter got banged up. Got to get healthy. That's the other side of it is your depth, and that's the other areas. You guys know how I kind of feel about that interior defensive line depth. However, they got tested tonight and they passed. Make sure. Let's see. We got some more super chats. If you planted football in Texas, if you played, Donovan Irish says, if you played football in Texas, join the Discord. That's an inside joke. What are we going to be ranked, or are we? I don't know, because I don't know what the rest of the NCAA or what the top 25 did. Let's take a look here. There were some losses. I think we had 3 top 10 losses. Alabama. So now Tennessee, Missouri. So what is that? 3 top 10 losses. Louisville got knocked out. Did Iowa State lose that game? No. Iowa State won. They beat Baylor 43-21. So there's a shot here. You're ranked. Yeah, you just beat the number 4 team in the country. You better be ranked. And you're 2 turnovers away from being undefeated? Yeah, if you're not ranked, I think that's criminal. I just think that's criminal if you're not ranked. Again, you just beat a top 5 SEC team or top 5 team in the country, right, who's also at the top of the SEC this year. There was one other loss. USC lost. Washington did beat Michigan, but Michigan was top 10. They were 10th in the country. SMU did beat Louisville. And I guess 24 and 25 didn't play this week. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think they will be ranked. I don't care if we are ranked. Win 2 weeks. Yeah, and that's true. That's the other thing. Who cares, right? Who cares, really? It is, it is fun to be ranked. Don't get me wrong. Please consider joining Patreon. We do a lot there. There's a lot going on with Patreon. Please consider joining. Right there's the link. 25 played last night. Oh, okay. All right, that's why I'm not seeing them. Okay. Who's 25th? Oh yeah, UNLV. That's right. UNLV lost 44-41. That's right. So yeah, the odds are pretty good. They're in your favor. You should be ranked. Ty, did we have a 5-star basketball at the game? You had a couple, Charles. I think they had 2 5-stars. You had a ton of recruits at this game, by the way. You had a ton of recruits. Hey! Playing cheating LSU next is Casey Schneider. Again, for anyone that's new, make sure you hit the sub. You got to hit the notification button because, man, YouTube just does not like to push Tusk Talk. I probably swear too much. And I don't insert ads for them. They don't like that. Ever since Sterner left the ball on the turf in 98, I've absolutely hated Tennessee. The color orange and especially the song Rocky Top. Go Hogs, says Richard Reed. Richard, what a super chat right there, my friend. That was awesome. That was a momentum win, Ty. I couldn't agree more. We're going to have to take back what we said, right? I mean, or do we? That Sam can't get it done in these close games, that until he proves otherwise, he got one tonight. And if you don't have Green against LSU, that's going to be interesting. Ty, I'm not saying Jackson should or shouldn't be the starter, but Russell needs more carries. I couldn't agree more. Russell has looked the part. He's looking more and more explosive. He doesn't disappear. He's not afraid of contact. I thought a couple times early on, he looked a little timid running the ball, but he's still like when he's explosive or when he decides to be explosive, he is a very difficult. I mean, of course, right? He's 253 pounds, 6'1", 253. I mean, he's thick, dude. He's thick. He's tough. Arkansas again ran the ball for 134 yards, 3 yards a carry. Keep in mind they completely. Taylor Green just was not allowed to do shit running the football. But he got it done with his arm, and you got to appreciate that. Richard Reed, welcome. He is a member now. Appreciate that, Richard. Even though Sterner came back next year and won. He did. That's right. The very next year. Again, shout out for anyone that's just joining. Shout out to T-Will. He got it. He got it. T-Will gets the gold chain, baby. The Tusk Talk with Ty post-game gold chain. Ty, when Russell broke that run, I had my Chris Berman voice, rumbling and stumbling. That's right. Man, he's talented. He's good. That was such a good get. Got to carry it over to next week. And that's exactly right, JD27. You are exactly right. You cannot let this momentum slip. Again, Green's got to be healthy. I agree with that. Am I wrong in thinking T-Will's going to be coaching Auburn next year? I don't. If they keep playing like that on defense, man, who knows? The Tusk Talk with Ty, DSO, Dookie rope chain game changer. I can't say that. Try saying that 10 times fast. You don't understand how nervous I was in that final drive. Smock, that was all of us, my friend. That was every single one of us. All right, we got some ASN Facebook comments. I fell a little bit behind. I appreciate everybody who's over there watching. Please make sure you share the content on Facebook. Evan Nally said, stoked for the win, but that game should not have been close. Green missed 2 touchdown passes in the first half. Centennial dropped one. Throw in the fog. Throw in the mist fog 2, and the final score is completely different, says Evan Nally. TJ Lewis, our defense won the game. I had OU fan call me and congrats on the win. Give the game ball to our defense. Well, the gold chain went to T-Will. Just a fantastic game plan on defense. T-Will needs to get a raise after the season and try to keep it. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I think you got to do everything you can. He's crushing it, you guys. He's crushing it. Would love to see this continue on. Word is TG has an MCL sprain. So Green rumored to have a MCL sprain. Easy, the down south hustler says hope Green is okay, but I don't think he's that much better than QB number 2 minus his running. Well, his running is a big part of it, though. I mean, you got to understand. And by the way, what he did today with his arm was pretty impressive, despite being contained on the ground. They found a way through passing to keep him. He was effective, even without running the ball. That's always kind of been the question. If you contain him, it's not to say that he threw for 350 yards and 3 passing touchdowns. I'm not, obviously that's not what happened, but they could not stop him. And you look at those 3rd down and long plays, he did that with his arm, as he's done multiple times this year with his arm and his feet. And his legs are what separate him from Malachi. I don't know as far as passing the ball. I don't know who. That's a tough call. I mean, we don't know because we just haven't seen enough. We have such a small sample size of Malachi. But what you saw tonight in the 4th quarter has got to give you a little bit of hope for Malachi. I don't think we have a quarterback battle if Green's healthy. I don't. It's going to be Green. Jeremy Gray says, guys, please consider joining Ty's Patreon. He puts a lot of hard work to continue to do this show. It's as little as $4 I contribute just to try and do my part, keep him going. I appreciate that, Jeremy. Thank you. I really do mean that. I think bye week helps. Got Green. Yeah. Singleton can run pretty well, too. He can. I'm not saying that he can't. All right, Bram, I watched him a lot. Through spring and fall ball. He can run. The things that he does that stood out in camp, he tends to hang on to the ball. He tends to get overwhelmed, and he tends to throw into double coverage. Like, there are things about him in camp you could see. I can remember making notes, making videos. Some of them didn't get published for Patreon, but there's stuff that I kind of kept off to the side. I watched him a lot. Green looked like the better part, and you could see why Patrino put him in that spot and kept him there. I said this last week. One of the biggest mistakes was from the get-go there not being any type of quarterback competition at all. I felt like that was not something. There absolutely should have been a quarterback battle. Malachi should have gotten more reps with the ones. I think he'll get that timing down with his receivers. I think he's got an arm, guys. He could throw that damn ball. His ball placement downfield, pretty good. Now, Green's done pretty well on that too, right? His ball placement downfield almost seems like it's better than his short throws. His ball placement downfield, even while he's running, looks better than his ability to throw underneath. That's wild. It almost like it suggests that he puts too much into his intermediate throws. He is a good deep ball thrower. And again, we had another drop tonight, and then we had another, Green is the guy. Make no mistake about it. Malachi can run, yes. He's not the same type of athlete Green is. Green is a far bigger threat on the ground than Malachi is. But Malachi is athletic enough that he can make those kind of runs. He can run. He can escape. He can get out of the pocket and do things. Ty, if T-Will was promoted, does he succeed because he wouldn't be doing what he is good at? I'm not sure. What do you mean promoted? What do you mean by promoted, Sarge? Okay. Well, to head. Well, he's not going to get promoted to head coach, Sarge. That's not going to happen. Not now. I mean, because if you're good enough to beat Tennessee, if Green's healthy, you feel better about your chances moving on. You should win 6, and they're not going to fire him if he wins 6. All right, I always watch Ty's great show first and then the walk and talk. Thank you, Justin. I appreciate that. People in here. It's always fun when people come in here and yeah. I appreciate it. Thank you. Broden got blasted. It was good to see Broden finally get a big catch. That was good to see. Game companion for LSU. Let's go. We may have to do that, Tim. We may have to do that. All right. Well, golly, I got to take this. You know what? No, I'm going to power through it. Shout out to Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company, same-day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes, better than best results. Give them a call today at 501-244-3667. That's Direct Service Overhead. They sponsor the gold chain as well. Give Travis and the boys a call. They've got your back. What a game. Arkansas finds a way. That should be the name of Monday's show, the Monday after show, finding a way. They did it. Congrats to Arkansas. Hell of a win. I won't be sleeping at all tonight. I've got too much energy. This is, man, you got to love it. You got to love it. That's how you do it. So, again, shout out to T-Will. Getting the gold chain tonight, buddy. I don't know if he probably won't see this, but, hey, if anyone wants to pass it along to him, tell him, hey, this big, beautiful gold chain, he got it. Right there, baby. Right there. Woo! Way to go. I'll see you guys on Monday. Love you, Ty. Hey, I appreciate you, Mr. Kicks. I'll see you guys on Monday for the Monday After Show. Let's go!